Hello friends, and welcome to another video. I've been trying to come up with some right hand exercises for you to further your skills to play like Ian Anderson's style. I think a lot of us are guilty, and myself included, in spending too much time doing left hand exercises and not spending enough time doing right hand exercises. Ian's playing style definitely focuses on right hand technique and less on left. Although he's, certainly adequate with the left hand, but he just doesn't do anything real fast or difficult with the left hand. Most of his skill is in the right hand, which is incredibly accurate and durable. I would call Ian the master of the three-string arpeggio. It kind of started early on, a little bit on the Aqualung album, when he started showing us those quicker three-string arpeggios. Like that on Cheap Day Return, or that little burst in Mother Goose. So he was beginning to hone that technique of three-string arpeggio, certainly by that time. But then came the mother of all three-string arpeggio albums with Thick as a Brick. So he really started throwing those three-string arpeggios at us a rapid fire during this period of time. Now most of the time he is playing three adjacent strings when he is doing these arpeggios, but there are times when he is skipping over a string, such as in Dun Ringgill. So there he is doing some string skipping when he's coming down. So he starts off with three adjacent strings. But there he's skipping over the A string to do those arpeggios. There's also a skipped string arpeggio in Thick as a Brick side 2. In the clear white circles of morning wonder, I'll take my place with the Lord of the hills. Alright, so there he's starting on the A. So the first is he's skipping the A string. And then he's going back to a three-string arpeggio. So now I'm going to show you some exercises that hopefully will let you build some of these skills, become more adept at playing in his style. So if you want to copy more accurately his playing, you can. We're just going to be using a G chord, a C chord. I've got the capo on the 3rd fret. We're going to be using a G chord, a C chord, and I'm playing it with a 3rd in the bass. And a D chord, which I'm going to play with a 3rd in the bass. I'm using my thumb. G, C, D, and G. So those are the only chords I'm going to be using here. Now focusing on my right hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 arpeggios on the bottom 3 strings. And then I'm going to move up 1 string and do 2 arpeggios. And then I'm going to move up 1 more. And then 1 more. And then I'm coming back down. Alright, and then change chords to the C, do the same thing. And then the D chord. Start off with a metronome, maybe on 60 beats per minute, and work on that, and then gradually get your speed up. Once you feel comfortable with doing that 2 arpeggios at a time, just do 1 at a time. Really do work on your speed, building up the speed. So work on getting the speed up slowly. Now we're going to change it up a little bit, and this is definitely harder than the other just 3 adjacent string arpeggios. We're going to start skipping a string. So we're going to start on the bottom string, but we're going to skip the string above. So on the G chord, we're going to play that note, then the D string, in the G string and arpeggio. And then we're going to move up, skip a string. So each one of these, we're skipping the adjacent string on the first time, and we're playing 2 strings above. So and then come back down the same way. That little exercise is decidedly harder than doing the adjacent arpeggios, adjacent string arpeggios. Now let's look at some examples of what I call his raked up strokes and how much it adds to his playing style, and then I'll show you some little exercises that you can work on it and some pointers with it. I'm going to play the first verse from Heavy Horses, just regular strumming, and then I'm going to play it as he plays it. Ironclad feather feet, pounding the dust, an October's day towards evening, sweat in boss veins, standing proud to the plow, salt on a deep chest, seasoning. Now contrast that regular sort of strumming pattern with how he actually plays the song. Ironclad feather feet, pounding the dust, an October's day towards evening, boss veins, standing proud to the plow, salt on a deep chest, seasoning. So you can see how these raked up strokes really define his strumming style. Now he can throw these in, these little upstrokes in the most delicate places, like if you've seen him play the opening to Life's a Long Song these days, he plays it with a capo on the 5th fret instead of the 7th fret like the original because his vocal range is diminished. But I'm going to play the intro like he does it these days, a little bit slowed down so you can see this, what I'm trying to illustrate. So did you catch that little maneuver on the D string? So doesn't that sound so classic Ian when he does that little thing? Now the trick, of course, is doing those little things at the tempo that he plays these actual songs at. So it just becomes a lot more difficult playing at higher tempos, but those little flourishes add so much to his playing. Another classic little example is in Jacqueline, which I did a play along not too long ago, but he does it to get kind of in between, getting back into the verses. So that's classic. That's just a classic sound that I associate with Ian's playing. There he's just playing the lower part of a D chord and doing a pull-off on the G string and landing on the D string down here. So those little things, they add so much to his style, and it's such a unique feature of his playing. I don't know any other person that's ever played guitar that way. And of course I can't think of those raked upstrokes without thinking of One White Duck from the Minstrel in the Gallery album. So on a downstroke, the pick needs to really be oriented like this. If it's too straight up and down, it's really going to grab hold of the strings. But if it's tilted a little bit up, if the tip of the pick is tilted a little bit up, it's just going to glide across the strings a lot more pleasantly. So the reverse has to happen when you're coming with an upstroke if you want it to glide. So the tip of the pick needs to be pointed down to be able to glide across. So that motion is really important to get with this strumming technique. You really want to tilt the pick so that the tip of the pick is pointed down when you're doing this stroke. And then you can just let your wrist roll into the next strum. All right, so here's a technique that I think will help you with those upstrokes. We're just going to be playing a simple G chord and a simple C chord, so nothing fancy there. But here is just a regular strum. And now with the added raked upstroke. So that's the simplest little exercise that I can think of that might help you get that technique down and the wrist rolling action that's required. And then you can move on to the more advanced things. Certainly it takes a lot of skill, a lot of hand control to do that little thing that I showed you in Life's a Long Song. That's such a cool little thing, and it's so hard to pull off. All right, till next time, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.